What's up, guys? Chiffon here. Kali's back. Finally, I've been waiting for ages for this. Need to max mine out. So I wanted to kick off this guide as kind of an update since the last time. I've learned a bit more. A few things have changed in my party setup. Just generally more knowledge that I wanted to share with people. Just so hopefully I can help more people clear. So, same old usual setup. But I just wanted to quickly talk about the roles that you have to take into account if you really want to have a smooth run. So let's start with your DPS. You're fine to have one DPS here. If it's Morrigan, it's perfect. You could switch this in with maybe a Leafer or a Christian if you want to go more unorthodox. But I use Morrigan. Straightforward, gets the job done. Pretty straightforward with the stats. Critical strike chance, you'll see that a lot of people miss out on. I've seen a lot of helper Morrigans with either crit damage or low critical chance or, I don't know, multi-strike or just something completely random. You want to be going for critical strike chance and getting as much as you can. Then attack, HP, defense. Pretty standard. Yeah, there we go. The most important people that I'll talk about would be your supports and your tank. So my Electra is very, very, I'd say, optimized now. I used to have 4,900 defense and just pushing on 20k HP. But I opted to take that down, and you'll see why. So my counterattack is through the roof. Like, it went from 16% to now 58%. The reason why I could actually make this trade-off is actually partly because of the hero talents. You'll see tier 1, element suppression. So it used to be fortified armor for the 20% defense. But you'll realize that when elemental damage is in your favor, 30% damage reduction is way better than 20% defense reduction because of the way the defense calculation works. So it's much easier for this situation to just switch up to that. And it's cheap as well. It's like literally, 10 of each times 3 in terms of essences and 90k gold. And we've just had double gold, so it's a no-brainer. Alright, I also switched out one set of health runes for counter runes. I like defense more on my tank. I just think it just makes more sense. And yeah, overall, if you just look at it, you can afford to shuffle around like this if you play it smart. I went from 20k HP. If you think about it, Kali's going to hit you for 1 to 2k damage base stacks. So I've kind of, in the end, 20k down to 18.5. I've literally only lost the difference of 1 hit at 1 stack. So, and it works so much better, trust me. You're countering, you're triggering more blaze, you're unstealthing more units, you're having more chance to taunt. It's just so much better. And I've got a bit of multi-strike there as well, so yeah, it's very happy with that. Okay, you've got your Rue. Rue, I see so many people again build with no multi-strike or counter in question. You have to think about it like this. If you're hitting more with Rue, you're healing more, and you can do more in terms of unstealthing, because it's all about unstealthing at Kali. Like, you know, if you can hit twice, then you can pull off some really cool safe moves and have a safer run. So what I've done is that I've gone with the runes. Don't follow this, to be honest, because this is more kind of me being me. Speed runes, I just wanted extra multi-strike, which I wasn't getting from the fact that my rune's not 6 star. So if you go 6 star with your character, I believe, I don't know. Yeah, I believe on the sixth. Shit, sorry, this is in the way. So you can see 6 star, you get 10% multi-strike increase. Yeah, I will do that one day, but I just literally haven't had the time or the resources. So for now, I've manually got myself up to 73% multi-strike. I think I could get to 75 if I get another plus 12 rune. But that's basically the cap. The cap is 75%. I've got some counter strike there as well, or counter attack. I did lose, I'd say, 200 defense and around 1k HP. But again, that's probably the difference of one hit from Kali. And if you're doing it right, your Kali is going to be hitting your tank and not your supports. So yeah, and Rue's got resolve as well, so it was a no-brainer for me as well on that. Sid is pretty straightforward. You just need him for the shields, typical builds. I'd say leaning towards more HP because of his shields and how that works. Max skill, well, I've got maxed or nearly maxed Sid, so that makes it a lot easier for me. But minimum, I would say you'd like to have a max skill 3. So it revives 2 people instead of 1. Perfect. As much multi-strike as possible. And then just keep him alive. So the shield is there and you can soak up as much damage as possible. Kali is just a filler here. I would be switching to a second Rue. Always look at the stats, always look at the, what's going on, the talents if you can. See, this is an example of a Rue that's all over the place. It doesn't really make so much of a difference with Rue, but it just helps. Because you have to think about it, you're using 72 stamina. There we go. This is a perfect one. I usually just look at multi-strike. This is, I think, even better than mine. Yeah. Wasabi. Okay, so just to round this off before I do the part 2, which is actually going into the dungeon. This is my setup. I'd say this is like the safest setup to run. You have your DPS on the left. Morrigan's role, once it gets to stage 3, is just to die and be revived by the Ruse especially. So she can just spam her S3. Get the boss down as soon as possible. Electra, obviously the tank. The Ruse, you should save their revive if possible for Morrigan. And the Cid, you should save his revive if possible for situations where maybe Electra and Morrigan go down. But if it's just Morrigan, that's fine. I do that because with Cid, 70% because his is maxed. So you want to get your tank back as healthy as possible so she can do the job that she needs to do the most, which is tanking. In terms of what else? In terms of alternatives, because you might not all have these units, Electra can be swapped for Ammon. It's a bit tougher, but it can be done. I've seen some setups with Claude or double tank, so Claude Ammon. In terms of your supports, you can again mix and match. These aren't the be all and end all supports, but I would recommend them if possible. And Sid's come by twice now, so literally twice or 3 times. So most people have Sid these days, so it should be pretty much something like this. But yeah, stay tuned for part 2 where I go into the actual dungeon.